Good morning, everyone. So we are going to be working on taking our DXF file that we got from Fusion and creating it a file that we can actually send to the printer. So let's do that. To do this work, we need to find Inkscape. So you can do a search for Inkscape, and we want the Inkscape app. There's like a little mountainscape here, and I've got one open. When you open it, it looks like this. You may have to go through several screens to get to this point, but just keep going till you get here. Next thing we need to do is set this up. Right now it's set for a piece of paper. Set it up for the size of our printer. To do that, we're going to go File, Document Properties, and we're going to change the width to 600 millimeters. That's the width of the cutting bed, and 300 millimeters height, and hit Enter. And I'm going to hold down the Control button and then roll the mouse wheel, and that will allow me to zoom in and out. If I want to move the canvas around, I push down the mouse wheel like a button, and I hold it down while I'm moving, it'll move me around. All right, well, I won't do that. Next thing we need to do is we need to import our file. So I'm going to do File and Import. And I'm going to find my file that I created. That is not it. You'll be finding yours on your ENA 4B or whichever thumb drive you have. I'm going to choose a manual scale and a scale factor of 1. It's expecting it to come over as millimeters, and because we modeled in millimeters, we can use a scale factor of 1. If we'd modeled in inches, we have to use a different scale factor to get it to work out right. Otherwise, it's going to be too big or too small. And then we're going to click OK. Now when this comes on, it's going to be really big. We're going to need multiple sheets of plywood to cut this. So you can see right here, this is an old design. That's okay. I'll show you in this old design how to do what we're doing. So this is how it came in. First thing I need to do is I need to change all of these lines from black to red. So the laser sees red and it cuts stuff. So right away I'm going to do that. So I'm going to come over here to Object, and I'm looking for something called Fill and Stroke. So that opens my Fill and Stroke menu over here. A fill is the color on the inside of the shape, but it fills it in with. We don't want any fill, so I'm just going to X there. And I'm going to go to Stroke Paint. Stroke is the line that is outside of this shape, and that's what we want to mess with. So we're going to click on this. We want to get RGB here. If yours doesn't say RGB, click over here somewhere. There's all these different color options. You want RGB. And we're going to go all red. So I'm just going to drag the slider all the way to the side. It should say 255 00 100. If you have this on 254, the laser won't cut it. It only cuts the color 255 00. If you have this on 1, it won't cut it. So just make sure that these are the right numbers. All right, now we've got everything colored the right way so it will cut. Now we need to start fitting it onto sheets of plywood. So I'm going to zoom out, hold down Control, move the mouse wheel. First thing I want to do is I want to break all of this up. So I'm going to do Control-Shift-G for ungroup. And I'm going to keep doing that until down here at the bottom it says no groups to ungroup. That means that everything's been ungrouped. Now the only problem with doing this is now when I go to grab this piece of the Hovercraft and I drag it to the side, it leaves the insides behind. And I don't want that. So I'm going to Control-Z to undo that. I need to actually regroup these pieces back together. So I'm going to drag a box around only the things I want to regroup, which is the base and those holes in it, and then do Control-G for group. And I'm going to do this for every single one of them. And down here, notice that I need to group this circle with those 4 circles. So I need to regroup, yep, all of those. I'm just going to go through and regroup each one. All right, now what I need to do is I need to rotate this piece. You may not need to do this part. And now it will fit on there nicely. So I can get it onto that piece. I need to remove these 2 pieces out of the way. And it looks like that's all that's going to fit on this one is just this. So here's what I'm going to do. This part's a little bit tricky to get used to. I'm going to do File, Save As. And I'm going to save this. Yep, that looks great. I'm going to call mine Practice. So I know to, I'm going to call it Delete actually. So I know to delete it later. This is nothing for real. Delete. I'm going to do page 1 of, I don't know how many. Well, let's see how many we're going to need. Let me cancel this real quick. So definitely 1 for this one, 2, 3, and then another one for all these circles here. So let's go ahead and do that then. So File, Save As, Delete. Page 1 of 4. Hit save. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all of these that aren't on the canvas, all the extra ones, and just do Control X to cut them. Not delete, but Control X. That way I have them still in the background. I'm going to do File, Save. That saves this as page 1. And then File, Save As. I'm going to change page 1 to page 2 and hit Save. I'm going to highlight the one that's already there and delete it, and then Control V to paste in the ones I cut earlier. Now I'm going to grab a new one. I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to grab all the extra ones and cut them, and then do File, Save. That saves as page 2, and then File, Save As, and I'm going to change it to page 3 now. Delete the contents of page 2 from before. Control V for the new ones. Rotate it. Cut the excess off. File, Save. File, Save As. And now we're on page 4. Save. Delete the page 3 stuff. Paste on this, and I'll just move these around really quickly to try to use as little plywood as I can. I don't want to be wasting a bunch of plywood. That looks pretty good. Awesome. If I want to, I can take a little bit more time and do this carefully and really get them in there so that they are not poking out more than they need to. Awesome. Here I'm going to say File, Save, and I've got my 4 sheets now ready to go. Now if you want to add some decoration to this, let me know and I'll show you some techniques for that. Awesome. Good job. We're ready for the laser now. Sorry.